Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today we are going to talk about the inner work of self-healing. I just want to step back, zoom all the way back out for a minute and talk about healing in general. We know that a therapist cannot heal us, that a certain food cannot heal us, that a supplement cannot heal us, that a modality cannot heal us. What we are doing when we're either going the traditional medical route or the naturopathic medical route or the holistic medical route or the functional medicine doctor route or the spiritual route or the mind body route or whatever it is, whatever modality we choose to use or combination, those things are not actually healing us. So a lot of people get confused here. It's the thing that healed me, right? It's the thing, and it's never the thing. We are supporting our body with whatever thing you choose, whether it's a medication or it's yoga or it's massages or it's a supplement or it's a diet. You're supporting your own body, and your body is healing itself. Okay, so you're not doing the healing, the doctor's not doing the healing, the modality's not doing the healing, the supplement's not doing the healing. Your inner being, your inner knowing is doing the healing. This channel is called Lisa Heal Yourself. Heal yourself, right? Patient heal yourself. When we talk about you healing you, I don't want you to be confused. This is fundamental, and it's really important, and it's critical to understand for actual healing. And a lot of people miss this. You aren't actually healing you. There's really two parts of you, okay? There's your ego, right? Your conscious, and there's your unconscious, your subconscious being. These are the two beings that are always talking, they're always communicating, they're always working out, and they're sometimes at war, okay? Your conscious is your awareness, your mind, what you know to be true when you can process things through your brain, when you can think, focus on a problem, and solve it. That's your conscious mind. This is the ego. People refer to that as the ego if you're going all the way back to Jungian psychology. So I love Jung. I love this kind of psychology. There's so much in here, so much wisdom to be able to heal yourself, right? It alludes to shadow work, a lot of inner self work, but we really want to understand the difference between our two beings. Okay, so over here we have our ego. This is the conscious. We want to know how things work. We want to solve problems, right? The ego, the conscious mind, wants to solve it. They want the facts. They want to figure it out. The ego wants to be right. The ego wants to know everything. The ego wants the credit. This is you. This is your conscious. And when you say to yourself, I want to heal myself, your ego, your conscious mind is literally saying it wants to have the answers. It wants to know the answers, have the tangible proof on how you can do this, be able to get all the credit, teach others, have the answers, get all the fanfare. This is the part of you that wants to have the credit for healing. You want to understand it. You want to know that you did it. Like big pat on the back. I healed myself. I did it. The ego wants credit. The ego longs for this adoration and admiration, and it wants to feel successful, and it wants to feel proud and good of itself, right? So part of you is longing to actually manipulate the healing. You want to do it. You want to do the work. You want all the control over the healing. You want to understand what's happening. You want to find the solutions. You want to hone in on them, and you want what you're doing to work. This is why ego clings onto things so tightly, like certain protocols, certain doctors, certain therapies, certain diets, right? We cling on to them because we want to be right. We long to be right. And when we're right, or when we can force that, when we can manipulate the healing to happen through the modalities that we've chosen and researched, then the ego feels so inflated, so good. You feel so proud of yourself. You feel like you can hold your head up high back in society. You feel amazing. You feel like you're a success. You feel like people are going to be proud of you. Not only are you going to be healed, but you are going to be complete because you did it. The ego is going to be right up there on the winning pedestal, right? charging through the finish line, having all the applause and the credit, and feeling like I did it. I did this. And that's all the ego wants. So I know this because I did this. My channel was called Lisa Heal Yourself. I was going to heal myself, and I was going to figure it out. And I was going to be able to have all the ways, all the answers to share on a silver platter with everybody else who had ever been in the situation that I was in, suffering at extreme levels, and be able to tell them I did it, so you can do it. Here's how you can do it. Example, everyone was going to be proud of me, my husband, my parents, my extended family, all the people who were who left me or abandoned me or didn't understand were finally suddenly going to understand. I was going to be able to be proud, hold my head up high, share my story, and the ego loves this. The ego dreams of this. This is the ultimate for the ego. That's not the way healing works. I wish it was. I wish that that was the way healing worked, but it's not. You are not actually healing you. You are healing you, but not the way you think. The ego's like the investigator, the teacher, the controller, the project manager. The ego wants all the credit. The ego wants the raise. The ego wants everything, right? The adoration. The ego doesn't like to let go. The ego's got it. I've got it, right? I've got it under control. There's another part of you. It's the subconscious. It's the unconscious. It's the part of you that actually knows how to heal, that knows how to breathe in and out, that knows how to keep your heart beating, that knows how to heal a cut when you get a cut, that knows how to fuse a bone back together, that knows how to have all your hormones working in harmony, that knows how to have your rhythms and your sympathetic and your parasympathetic system working in ease, that knows how to have your neurotransmitters flowing and doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's so intricate, it's so detailed, and it's so miraculous with so many billions of cells and neurotransmitters and hormones and you name it, that even it's a mystery to science. We're only just getting little glimpses, right? And little pieces of evidence that this might do this, but then we find out something new and it changes this. And you know, we're still piecing it all together. The intricate workings of the human body and what creates health is beyond science at this point. It's beyond our knowing. And I want you to notice for a minute your breath. Notice, is there any tension in your body? Notice where you're holding it. Just notice, do you feel open in your heart, closed in your heart? Do you feel aligned with who you are or not aligned? Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? You know, are you feeling a sad emotion, a grief, an anger? Or are you feeling comfortable? Are you feeling uncomfortable anywhere? So you just tune in and you become aware. Now there's a being in there, an all-knowing being, our subconscious, our unconscious, this being that knows how to heal us. And it's coming from source. It's coming from the pure source of your soul, who you are, and the intricate workings of human life and your body. You wouldn't dare have your ego say, I know how you are supposed to breathe, and this is how you're going to breathe all the time, right? You're going to breathe in for 7, you're going to hold for 7, and you're going to breathe out for 7 every single time. If you really thought that that was the best way to breathe and you put your conscious awareness on that 24 hours, it would take so much work for the ego to do that, for your conscious mind to do that. It would drain you of your energy. And it maybe wouldn't even be the right way, because as soon as you stop your conscious effort, the body's just going to go back to breathing how it should and how it wants to and how it's going to sustain your life. Similarly, you wouldn't say, well, I know how the liver is supposed to filter, or I know how the kidneys are supposed to filter, and I'm going to make it happen. I know how that cut is supposed to heal, and I'm going to do all this. No. So we wouldn't presume to insert ourselves, right, into the process of, you know, having our blood go to our brain and back down to our heart and around our body, or how the process of how to eliminate or go to the bathroom. We wouldn't normally just try to insert ourselves in that process, because we understand that there's something greater than us that knows more than we do, that can orchestrate this, easily and effortlessly without our conscious awareness, attention, or control. That it will happen because the being, the human being that you are, wants to survive. It's programmed to survive. It will do what it can and needs to survive. We forget how miraculous the body is, and that it subconsciously is programmed for survival, and that it will just do what it's necessary without our conscious awareness. So if we have a teacher and a student, let's think of it that way for a minute. There's a parent and a child. This is our conscious versus our unconscious, right? This is the person who wants the credit, who wants to be the healer, who feels like they need to be in control of the healing, who researches the healing, who has ideas about the healing, who wants to help, who wants to make it happen. This is your conscious over here, and the unconscious has to make it happen. So this is the person who actually has to do the healing, who has to do the breathing, who has to do the healing, who has to get the person sick, who has to know when to turn on the fever and when to turn it off. This is the unconscious process of keeping you alive. So when I say that you are going to heal yourself, you, conscious you, has to get out of the way, has to get out of the way of the unconscious, of the person who can actually do the healing. You cannot actually do the healing. No matter what protocol you try, no matter how many doctors you go to, no matter how many lists, no matter how many schedules you have, no matter how much focus and attention and dedication, you cannot be the healer. You are not, this conscious mind cannot heal the body, okay? The unconscious, the subconscious, the source, the being underneath it all, the innate being that you are who knows how to heal, is the one that has to heal. A lot of times you're in your own way. So how do you get out of the way, right? It's really hard. This person who feels like if they let go of control, if they drop the ball, if they don't try hard enough, they're just a failure. They're just like, it's all just gonna fall apart. You feel like the world and your healing and everything is gonna fall apart. But what happens ultimately is when this person does let go and falls apart, this person can emerge and take over and do what is needed, right? You may plant the soil, you may put the nutrients in the ground, you may put the seed in, you may water it, you may tend to it, you may take care of it, but you're not actually growing the plant, right? The seed knows how to germinate, how to push through the soil, how to come up, how to grow, how to branch out, how to become green, how to turn into the plant. The best you can do is support it by giving it good nutrients, by watering it, by putting it in a sheltered area, making sure it has sunlight, supporting the plant. But the plant will grow. The plant will grow in the most supportive of environment, and the plant can also grow through cement, right up through cement. A weed can grow, a weed can pop up. It can grow in the most dimmest, darkest, most uncared for parts of the forest, right? So it just knows it also wants to survive. One of the things that I like to do in order to get out of your own way is to know whether you're supporting or whether you're controlling, like pushing. Because when you control and push, you're actually creating stress on your being. You're tiring yourself out, wasting energy, causing a lot of stress. You're triggering your fight or flight activation. You're putting yourself in sympathetic dominant state. You're increasing, the wrong hormones. We're getting frustrated, emotional, sad, helpless. We're getting in our own way. We're tightening our grip. We're trying harder. We're really spinning our wheels and using our energy, and it's not helping. There's a point when you gotta let go and let this happen. So you have to know whether you're supporting, whether your resources that you're putting to it are helpful and supportive, or whether the resources you're attaching to it are taking away from, are distracting, are getting in the way, are just causing you to wear out or fatigue. If we're doing a certain protocol, if we're eating a certain diet, we're having a certain thought or a certain bedtime, we can just simply stop and ask. Take a breath. slow down our body, and ask a basic question. Is this helping me? Is this helping me heal? Is this supporting my body heal itself? And if it feels hard, heavy, exhausting, challenging, stressful, it's producing anger or grief or hopelessness or despair or any heavy emotion, it's producing you physically to wear out. It's producing conflict in your mind. I'm not sure if this is the right thing. A lot of conflict or overwhelm. You are not helping and supporting your body to heal. What does help and support your body to heal is when you feel nourished, when you feel calm, when you feel loved, when you feel accepted, when you feel supported, when you feel taken care of. So how can you help your body feel that way? Then you need to stop and ask yourself that question again. Is this supportive? Well, if you're drinking a nice warm cup of tea like I am right now, and it makes you feel good, makes you feel happy, you feel like right now this happens to be ginger with some cinnamon. You feel connected to the ginger and the cinnamon, like it's doing a good job. You feel connected to the taste, you feel connected to the warmth of the cup, and you feel it makes you feel good to be doing this. That is supportive. That's supportive of your body getting into a place of healing. That parasympathetic rest and repair state that it can heal from, right? The diet that you're eating, diet is critically important. But when you're eating, are you afraid of your food? Are you overwhelmed that you might be eating the wrong food? Are you thinking about the fact that this food might be causing you harm? Are you stressed out about preparing your meals? Does it feel hard, exhausting, overwhelming? You're not supporting your body. If you're eating a whole foods organic diet and you're not worried about the foods, you actually are eating them and thinking, this is a supportive food. I feel good eating this food. This is nourishing. It's filling me up. It's giving me, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E. It's giving me my amino acids. It's really helping to build my cells, right? If you let yourself feel that way, then it feels nourishing to your body. It feels supportive. That's a supportive diet. So why do some people heal on the raw vegan diet and some people heal on the carnivore diet? Why do some people heal on keto and some people heal on paleo? It's because they feel good about what they're eating. They feel connected to the diet they've chosen, and they really feel like it's nourishing, like it's healing, like it's aiding them. And because they are putting something in place that they believe to be supportive and it makes them feel good when they eat it, they are healing. They're taking their healing further. They're opening up this part of themselves to grow, to accept those nutrients, right? If you feel like you're poisoning your body when you're eating, your body's already tense, it's scared, it's worried, and it's not gonna accept the nutrients very well from those foods. In fact, your body innately knows to not accept, not digest properly, to be afraid, to not assimilate them, to be on guard about that, because it senses the fear of maybe this is bad for me, maybe this is poison. And biologically, it already knows what to do in that case, right? If an ancient ancestor thought this might be poisonous, immediately the body would start taking precautions to stop breaking down that food, to eliminate that food, to not soak in all the nutrients and the benefit of the food, because it can read the mind. The mind and the body are one. It's reading the thoughts and the messages that are going back and forth through the hormones and the neurotransmitters, and it's collecting the data, not from the conscious mind, but subconsciously underneath it. This being is collecting the data. This might not be good for me, and so I'm not going to grab onto this food and use this food to help me heal. I'm going to wait until the person feels totally safe eating that food, and then I'm going to know that, and I'm going to be able to assimilate those nutrients. Nature is so beautiful and so complex, and the message is going back between your hormones and your neurotransmitters and everything going on from the brain to the body through our messengers in our body is complex, it's unique, and it is very, very tuned in to pick up the nuances of whether this is good or bad for you, whether this is safe or unsafe. And the body and the mind respond accordingly. So when the mind is feeling like it's unsafe, the body recognizes that signal, that message, and it doesn't take the benefit of the food in the right way. It literally doesn't digest it to its full potential. It doesn't draw those nutrients and pass them around the body. It's a very intricate system that we have in order to keep the human being and the human species alive. Ask yourself, is this supportive for my healing, my unconscious healing to take place? Am I supporting it? Right? How am I thinking right now? You can ask yourself another question. You can say, how would I feel? How would I be breathing right now if I was fully healed? Right? How would the tension level in my body be if I was fully healed? If everything was okay? Right? Just imagine, how would my body feel? How would that tension just melt away? And then you can just tune into that. The body hears that question, and your subconscious is designed to find the answer. So asking the right questions instead of, oh my God, I'm so tense, how do I stop tension? And searching around on a hamster wheel for, is it massage, is it acupuncture? And like, the better question is, how will my body feel if I could let go of this tension? Now your being starts searching for that answer. And it finds it. It does the healing. It does the releasing of the tension. And you're like, oh, this is how it would feel. So I'm not saying it's magic, but I am saying if you're asking the wrong questions that produce more tension, you're not going to get rid of the tension. If you're asking questions like, how will I feel? How good will it feel when I release the tension? What will I feel instead? What joy will I focus on instead? Your mind and your body will start to then go towards that joy. It will start to then release that tension and show you. We'll start to respond. These messages start to respond to each other. So we want to find better questions, better ways of helping and supporting your subconscious, your being that knows how to heal. It knows how to heal. We're in the way of healing. We truly are. We're running around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to solve a problem that was never ours to solve. You're gonna feel so much relief. Like, this was never my problem to solve. It was never your ego's problem to solve. Your ego, if you come to peace with the fact that you are not gonna have all the answers to healing, you're not gonna know. You're not in control. This is not your job to figure it out. It's not your job to do it, to manipulate it, to make it happen. It's only your job to support, to not interfere, to not get your mind racing and your body doing 100 different other things that are really a distraction from what needs to take place, which is the healing. We're not ultimately the ones. We can support, we can plant the seed, we can nourish it, we can water it, but we're not the ones. If the seed doesn't grow, it's not our fault, right? The seed will grow when it's ready. The seed knows how to grow. We're helping the seed. The seed is the one. And so when you give permission to your conscious, so to your unconscious, to your subconscious, to your soul, to your being, to that higher self, to the version of the entity, of the one, of the source of life that can come in and say, this is how, right? We're going to do it now. Just stop getting in the way. So, and sometimes healing's confusing because it can hurt. It can feel off. It can feel horrible. It's not easy, right? A baby coming out, birth isn't easy. It's messy. It hurts. It's painful. It's complicated. The body knows what it's doing, right? You don't intend to do a birth without the mess, without the blood, without the pain, without the contractions, without the crying, without the baby, without, all of these things. But it's beautiful, and nature knows what it's doing. It knows to start the contractions. It knows how to get your body ready to push. It knows when it's time to push. The baby knows how to come out. It knows how to breathe. We can be there. You can have a doctor, a midwife, a doula. You can learn breathing techniques. You can learn positioning. You can train your mind. You can do a lot of things to prepare for birth. But when it comes down to it, as those of you know who have had a birth plan or have given birth, it happens. In the end, it just happens. And you're there trying not to get in the way, trying to support it, trying to breathe through it, trying to just know that something else has got this and something else has got you. And you're not in control of the birthing process. You're going through it. You're going through it. And something else has really taken over. A knowing that is far greater than you. Oh, I'm going to get sad just thinking about this. I mean, I think back to the day when I had my son, the beautiful, birth plan that I had, and everything went wrong. Everything, you suddenly realize you surrender at some point to the moment, like, I'm not in control. My plan doesn't matter. This was a helpful template at best, and now it's time to throw it away. Like, the miraculous being has this. If I die during birth, that's what's going to happen. But I'm going to trust that nature wants me to survive, and it wants my baby to survive, and that this pain is going to go away, and that the baby's going to come out, and the contractions are working, and you're pushing, and it's hard, it's draining, it's exhausting, it's hard to surrender to that process, to that beautiful process. But anyone who's been in that, beautiful process, that transformative process of giving birth, those of you know, it's out of your control. It's not in your control. There's something far greater producing this miracle, and you're only along for the ride. And if you surrender, instead of fight the contractions, if you surrender to what's actually happening, instead of clinging on to this plan that you had, this birth plan, then everything goes easier. And my doula, my wonderful doula, who I love very much, told me always in those situations to ask, what's the next best thing? When something goes wrong or not according to your birth plan, just surrender to it and ask, what's the next best thing I can do? And that really applies to everything in life, and it applies so much to the healing process. When your diet didn't work, or your protocol didn't work, or something's not going according to your plan, surrender. Surrender easily, surrender quickly, surrender fully, and say, what's the next best thing? What's my next best option to help, to support, to try, and go with it. Stop clinging. Move on. Move through easily. Move to your next best option. And know that you're going through a process, and we always have our next best option. And sometimes we have to surrender completely and let God take over, right? Let the source, let the being take over. And that's ultimately what healing is. That's ultimately what healing is. So your ego wants to be in control. It wants to have the answers, and it wants all the credit of healing you. Once we surrender to the fact that this is not going to happen, and we actually let the body take over and begin to heal, and we align ourselves, we support ourselves, we surrender to this process, and we believe, we trust in it, and we think the thoughts that are going to help that. We feel the emotions that are going to help that. We go through the process, right? At some process in the birth, you're meant to scream, you're meant to groan, you're meant to push, you're meant to feel the pain. The feeling of the pain, the bracing on it is what's allowing the pushing to happen. So it's all designed. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like screaming, scream. If you feel like falling apart, fall apart. That's the process that the being is asking you to go through so that it can help you get to the next part of the transformation. You're going through this transformation, and healing is a journey, it's a transformation, it's a process, and something bigger than you has it. Something bigger than your ego, something bigger than your conscious, something bigger than the protocol, the diet, and the doctor, and any expert out there. So that's big, and this has been a long video. I hope it's been helpful. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. There is so much good advice on here on how to heal yourself, how you are going to support the process of your body healing itself. Okay, the things that you can do, the things that are getting in the way, the lessons that I learned along the way, the hard way, the things that I know now that I didn't then, and the things that I want to share you. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't introduced yourself, if you have a problem that you want to share, that you want advice on, hit me up in the comments. See what I can do. I have a program. I can consult with you. Let me help you through this, and you're not alone. Not only am I here for you, and there's plenty of others who understand the mind-body connection and who can help you through this process of healing. You know, you're not alone. Source is with you. You know, it's not necessarily God, but like something more than you has this. You can and you will heal. You can and you will heal. It starts with you allowing the process to go into the process, to allow the transformation to happen, to open instead of close. You're going through a healing, you're going through a metamorphosis, you're learning, you're growing. This isn't comfortable, but you can and will come out the other side. Your body's intelligent, it's working for you, and it has got this. It can and will heal if you allow it to.